say something about like the whole series because like all the books tie together.
Sure.
Okay, so the series is called The Heroes of Olympus, and it's about these 7 kids. There's 3 different kids in the first and second books, and they all have to try to save the world in the last book because like the Earth is like apparently like really bad in the book, and it could like it'll make earthquakes when it when it wakes up. And like a lot of like bad like major stuff will happen. So like these 3 kids that are like our age or a little bit older have to like try to save the world and like keep the earth asleep. The book is called Lost Hero. This is the first one. It's really cool. And the chapters go by each person. So like this chapter is Jason, like which is one of the characters. And there's 3 people in each book. It's Jason, and this one is Jason, Piper, and Riodian. And here I'm just gonna read this part. A wolf launched itself at Jason. He stepped back and swung his scrapwood at the beast's snout with a satisfying crack. Maybe only silver could kill, but a good old-fashioned board could still give it a Tylenol headache. He turned toward the sound of hoofs and saw a storm spirit horse bearing down at him. Jason concentrated and summoned the wind, but just before the wind could trample him, Jason launched himself into the air, grabbed the horse's smoky neck, and rode it on its back. The storm spirit reared. It tried to shake Jason. Then he tried to dissolve into mist and loosen, but somehow Jason stayed on him. He willed the horse to remain in solid form, and the horse seemed unable to refuse. Jason could feel it fighting against him. He could sense its raging thoughts, complete chaos, striving to break free. It took all Jason's willpower to impose his own wishes and bring the horse under control. He thought about Olympus overseeing thousands and thousands of spirits like this, much worse.
Who would like this book? I mean, what type of person, what type of reader would like this book?
It kind of has like some mythology background, but it's like mostly adventure, and there's like action all the way through.
Yeah. Confectionately Yours, Taking the Cake. And this book is about a girl named Haley, and she's like around our age, maybe a little older. And her life completely turns around, and her parents get divorced, and she hates her dad's new girlfriend. And her ex-best friend starts dating her crush, and she finds a new best friend, but she's really unsure about her. And after each chapter, there is a confession that Haley has to make. And there's also like recipes of like the cupcakes that she makes, and you can see how like the cupcakes make her life easier somehow. And this book is probably more for a girl. I don't think boys would like it. And it's more of an easy read, so yeah, I'll just read it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm standing at the front of the cafeteria, covered in lasagna. A noodle clings to my shirt for a moment, then drops onto my shoes with a tomato sauce splat. Why did I have to get lasagna, I wondered. Why didn't I get the burger? But it wouldn't have mattered. I'm also covered in chocolate milk. Oops, Artie says, then she giggles. Sorry. OMG, Chang lets out a laugh, and the 2 of them walk away. She didn't do it on purpose, I tell myself, as I watch my ex-best friend cross the cafeteria to sit with her neighbor.
Okay.
Action.
So the book I have is Fallout Project Horizons, which is a sequel to the first book, which was just of, what?
Let's see it.
Oh, look, words, fun. Okay, so then the book is about the game Fallout, which is just a post-apocalyptic type thing where the world ran out of resources, so they nuked each other. But the U.S. government decided to create vaults, underground secret places, where everybody would go and live in case of like a nuclear strike or anything. So then a bunch of people went in those, but not too many people were thinking, because the Great War of like battle lasted about 2 hours while nukes fell everywhere. And then, so people go inside the vaults, everybody's in there, and they have no idea when to go back up or if it's safe or not. And then the people who did survive the nuclear strikes by just surviving it, then roam the wastelands, kind of deformed, and they're known as ghouls because they live forever, really, and they have really deformed skins. And then the first story, actually, let's talk about this one. This one follows a girl named Blackjack. She lives in Vault 101, and that's just the vault, I guess. Except one day, one day I'm trying to remember her name. The leadery person, I think it's like the overlord or whatever, of the vault, gets a transmission from outside from the vault tech, the people who made the vaults, and says, "Hey, it's okay to go back outside again, guys. You're all good." And then they open the door, and everybody's standing there going like, "Oh, yay, we're going to go back outside." And then the door opens, and there's a bunch of people with shotguns, and there's a big guy in a large mechanical suit with the shotgun, like, in his arm, and any weapons. And then they end up dying, a lot of them. And
Are you spoiling it?
no, it's only the first chapter.
Oh, okay, good.
Blackjack ends up surviving by stealing a pistol from one of the dead ones and just kind of fighting her way out. And then she goes into the wasteland and adventures.
Okay. What's
Yeah.
the title again, and who's the author?
Fallout Project Horizons by Somber.
Oh.
Somber. It's like a name.
Think?
Project Horizons.
Alright. Okay, so this book is called The Hunger Games, as said on the cover in these big, bold letters. Okay, it's a very good book, so you should probably read it. I like this book especially because it is awesome. It's basically about, this girl, and she lives in, like, a futuristic utopia thing. And there's 12 districts, and every year the 12 districts have to go to the Hunger Games, which is set up by the leading city called the capital. And basically in the Hunger Games they have to fight to the death. And they don't really have any modern weapons or anything. They just have like a little bow and arrow knife and stuff. But it's a good book for that reason, I guess. It is full of action, but the only thing is the beginning is kind of boring. You, like, read, like, the first 3 chapters, and then you're like, I don't like this book. And then you get all the way to part 2, and then you're like, now it's picking up a bit. So, yeah, but then if you read this book, you're gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna read the sequel now, because it's just a good series in general. This is the best one. So, yeah. It says here, winning means fame and fortune. Losing means certain death.
Dream. The main character, Jessica, is an amazing runner. She's on a bus and is on her way to go to another track meet.
Suddenly a bus gets rammed in from the side by a car, and the person in front of Jessica is killed.
Now Jessica has to get her leg sawed off and is trying to recover and get back on the track.
This book would be recommended to the people who like sports and blood.
If you like this book, you may also like Shark Girl.
Overall, the book is about Jessica and her teammates overcoming challenges.
Oh snap.
Tyler
Who is the author? Thank you.
Okay, so the name of this book is Scarlett, and I think the cover represents the book really well, and if you read it, you'll find out that it's really interesting why. And this book kind of seems like a long book. It's 261 pages, but when you read it, you like it so much it goes by so fast that you don't even notice that it's that long. What happens in the book is there's this girl named Scarlett, and her parents got divorced when she was younger, and she has been to 5 schools in 2 years, and she's going to her 6th one, and she's having a lot of problems, and so you have to see what happens when you read the book. I'll read you a short passage from the book. That's a really good passage. Okay, so with a name like Scarlett, you cannot sneak through like blending into the background. People notice you like it or not. Of course, they notice me even more these days since my hair is dyed the color of tomato soup. But hey, why not? You can't fight destiny. Mom once told me that red is nature's warning color, signifying danger, trouble. It warns the other animals to back off, stay away. I like to think of that my name and my hair color are a little clue for the rest of the world to do just the same. Back off and leave me alone. If they choose not to take notice of the warning, well, that's not my fault, is it? So, I really like this book, and this book I think is for people who like adventure and like things that are a bit crazy. So, and I like this book a lot.
That book was really overlooked a lot. That was a really good book.
Okay, this series is the Alex Rider series. It's about a kid who is named Alex Rider, and he's 15 years old, and his parents both died in a plane crash, and he was, his guardian was his uncle, but his uncle got killed, so he now has to become a spy, and he's only 15 years old, so he has to do all this crazy stuff, and this is the 6th book in the series, and it's really good. But I recommend this series for people that like adventure and action, and there might be a little blood because he kills a lot of people, and he's only 15. It's every page is a thriller. It hooks you on every chapter. Like there's something new, and the series is just really good. And Matt can vouch for me.
Yeah. What's the first book in the series?
Stormbreaker, and the second one is Skeleton Key. So I really recommend this book.
That's the 6th.
Oh, boy. Thank you. Okay, as you're going back to your seats, I want you to think of scary